to Deep Sleep Stories. If these stories have helped you through restless nights, please leave a review. Reviews are what help this podcast grow, reach more listeners, and stay alive. Without them, even something meaningful can slowly disappear. So if this show has brought you comfort, that small act truly helps keep it going. Now, settle in, and let's begin.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, and allow yourself to arrive softly, just as you are. Tonight, you are invited to wander toward a candlelit cafe on a quiet summer evening where warm tables glow beneath striped awnings and gentle rain turns the whole street silver. Let your body become heavy in the most peaceful way. Let your shoulders loosen, your jaw unclench, your hands rest without needing to hold anything at all. The room around you may be dim, or perhaps only imagined as dim, but either way there is a hush waiting for you. It is the kind of hush that asks for nothing. It simply opens like a door left ajar at the edge of a garden. Take in a slow breath, as though you are breathing the cool scent of summer rain. Hold it for only a moment without effort, and then let it drift away. Again, breathe in gently and imagine the air washed clean, carrying the green fragrance of leaves, stone, and distant blossoms. Breathe out and allow the day to loosen its fingers from your thoughts. There is nothing to solve now, nothing to finish. The world can continue on its own for a while. You may simply listen, floating at the edge of a soft little story where every sound is rounded and every light is low. If thoughts pass through, let them pass like raindrops sliding down glass. You do not have to follow them. You can rest here, quiet and safe, while the evening gathers around you. And as your breathing settles, the story begins to move away from you, not far, only enough that you no longer need to take part. It becomes the story of someone else, someone gentle and unhurried, walking through a small town at the hour when summer rain begins to fall. Her name was Elise, and she arrived just before dusk, when the last gold of the day still lingered along the roofs and chimneys. The town was tucked between low green hills and a river that moved with a patient, glassy sound. Its streets were narrow, paved with old stones worn smooth by years of carts, footsteps, and soft weather. Window boxes leaned over the lanes, filled with geraniums, lavender, trailing ivy, and little white flowers whose name Elise did not know. She'd come with a small suitcase and no great purpose. There had been a train, and before that another train, and before that weeks of busy rooms and crowded hours. Now there was only the town, the river, and a summer evening holding its breath before rain. A narrow street led away from the station toward the older part of town. Elise followed it slowly. She passed a baker closing blue shutters, a woman carrying apricots, and a boy guiding a sleepy dog away from a fountain. No one seemed in a hurry. The stones still held the warmth of the day, and as Elise walked, she could smell bread, ripe peaches, basil, and the faint metallic hint of rain waiting in the clouds. Above the lane, the sky had deepened from pearl to blue-gray. Heavy clouds gathered beyond the church spire, not threatening, only full, like folded blankets, waiting to be shaken open. Elise felt the first drop touch the back of her hand. It was cool, round, and surprising. Then another landed on the brim of her hat. A third made a dark mark on the pale stone ahead of her. The summer rain did not rush. It introduced itself gently, one drop at a time, until the whole street began to glisten. At the bend in the lane where two alleys met and the stones widened into a small square, Elise saw the cafe. It stood beneath an old chestnut tree, its windows glowing amber from within. There was no sign beyond a painted wooden board with a small cup and crescent moon. But the place looked as though it had always been there, as though it had grown out of the square along with the tree and the fountain. Its door was open, and from inside came the low murmur of voices, the soft clink of cups, and the warm scent of coffee, honey, and butter. Outside, beneath deep green awnings, several little tables had been arranged on the pavement. Each table held a candle in a small glass lantern. The flames flickered quietly, protected from the rain, and their light made small circles of gold on the tabletops. Raindrops tapped the awnings with a sound like fingertips on fabric. The air beneath them was dry, warm from the candlelight, and faintly scented with melted wax and damp leaves. Elise paused at the edge of the square. Something about the cafe seemed to ask her to slow down even more. The chairs were woven with dark cane. The tablecloths were linen, pale as cream, stirred now and then by the breeze. On one table, a forgotten spoon reflected the candle beside it. On another, a vase held 3 sprigs of rosemary and a single tiny rose. The rain deepened, soft and steady, and the square became a pool of shimmering reflections. Candlelight stretched across the wet stones. The fountain caught the glow and broke it into trembling pieces. A woman stepped through the cafe door, carrying a folded napkin and a welcoming smile. She had silver hair pinned loosely at the back of her neck, and her apron was the color of warm milk. "Come sit out of the rain," she said, as though she were naming the most natural thing in the world. Elise thanked her and took a chair at one of the candlelit tables near the edge of the awning. From there she could look across the square where the old chestnut tree rose into the rain, each leaf shining at its rim. She set her suitcase beside her chair, and the woman brought her a cup of chamomile tea in a white porcelain cup, along with a small plate of sugared almonds and a slice of plum cake. The tea steamed softly. Elise wrapped her hands around the cup and felt its warmth pass into her palms. It moved slowly from her fingers to her wrists, then up her arms, settling in her chest. She took a sip. It tasted of flowers, honey, and quiet fields. The plum cake was tender, dark with fruit, and dusted with sugar that sparkled in the candlelight like frost. Though the evening itself was warm, the town entered its rainy hour. People came and went beneath umbrellas that shone black, red, blue, and brown. Their footsteps made soft sounds on the wet stone. A man with a violin case paused to shake rain from his hat. 2 elderly sisters ordered coffee with cream. speaking in low voices that blended with the weather. Inside the cafe, someone began to play the piano. The notes were quiet, spaced far apart, like lanterns along a path. They did not demand attention. They simply wandered out through the open door and joined the rain. Elise listened without trying to recognize the melody. It seemed better not to know it. Some music was lovelier when it had no name. The candle on her table leaned and brightened as a breeze moved through the square. Its flame made a tiny world inside the glass, a golden tongue speaking silently to the rain beyond it. Around the flame, the glass lantern had fogged with warmth, and a few droplets clung to its outer surface. Each droplet held the candle upside down, a small trembling star caught in water. She felt the long journey of the day leaving her. It did not leave all at once, it slipped away in pieces. The sound of the train faded first, then the memory of timetables, then the tightness she had carried between her shoulders. The rain took each thing lightly, as though washing chalk from a slate. By the time she finished her tea, Elise could not quite remember why she had thought she needed to arrive anywhere quickly. The silver-haired woman returned with a small copper pot. "More tea?" she asked. "Yes, please," Elise said. The woman poured. "It is good rain," she said, glancing at the square. "It has been waiting all week." Elise smiled. "The town seems pleased with it." "Oh, it always is. Summer dust grows restless. The flowers grow dramatic. The river complains under its breath. And then the rain comes, and everyone remembers how to be calm." She said this as though she knew rain personally, and perhaps in that town she did. Elise watched her move from table to table, lighting a candle that had gone out, laying a hand briefly on the shoulder of one of the elderly sisters, laughing softly with the man who had brought the violin. Nothing in her movements was hurried. Each gesture seemed complete. The rain continued. It thickened for a while, falling from the awnings in silver cords. The square beyond the candlelit tables became blurred, then softened further until houses, shutters, tree trunks, and lampposts all seemed painted with the same brush. The world had not disappeared. It had simply become gentler around the edges. Across the square, a little cat sat under a shop awning, dry and self-possessed, watching the rain as though it were a performance arranged for his benefit. After a while, the man with the violin case opened it. He did not stand or announce himself. He simply lifted the violin to his shoulder, as naturally as one might lift a cup. The piano inside the cafe grew quieter, and the violin joined it with a note so soft it seemed to rise from the rain itself. The melody that followed was slow and tender. It curled beneath the awning, between the tables, around the candle flames, and out into the square. Elise rested back in her chair. The music made no request of her. It only offered a gentle space where she could be still. She could hear the bow passing over the strings, the rain on the canvas overhead, the fountain beneath the rain, and the occasional clink of a cup being set carefully in its saucer. All the sounds belonged together as if the evening had been composed for candle, water, stone, and breath. When the song ended, no one clapped at first. The silence after it was too tender to break. Then the silver-haired woman touched her fingertips together once or twice, quietly, and a few others joined, not in applause exactly, but in gratitude. The man with the violin smiled, lowered his instrument, and took up his coffee. The rain softened again. Its steady fall became a whisper. Little streams ran along the edges of the square, turning around stones and disappearing into iron grates. The cafe candles burned lower, their flames round and peaceful. Now and then, a server came out to replace one candle with another, lifting the old glass away and setting down a new glow so gently that the table never seemed to lose its light. The table seemed to remember other quiet evenings without heaviness. Its wooden surface beneath the linen was old and slightly uneven. When Elise rested her fingertips on it, she felt a small nick near the edge and followed its curve absently, as though reading a word in a language made of touch. The woman brought her a small bowl of summer berries, dark blue and red, with a spoonful of cream. Elise ate them slowly. Each berry tasted like a remembered patch of sun, cooled now by rain and twilight. A little sweetness lingered on her tongue. The tea had made her drowsy, not in a sudden way, but like a curtain lowering inch by inch at the end of a peaceful play. In the square, lanterns along the cafe wall began to glow more clearly as night settled. The rain made halos around every light. The chestnut tree stood large and patient, its leaves dripping at the tips. Occasionally one drop, heavier than the rest, fell from a branch to the awning above Elise with a round, soft sound. She began to look forward to those drops, each one arriving after a long pause, like a thought completed. The silver-haired woman came once more, this time without tea, and looked kindly at Elise's small suitcase. "Have you found your lodging?" she asked. "Not yet," Elise admitted. "I thought I would walk until I found somewhere quiet." The woman nodded, as if this were an entirely sensible plan. "There is a guest house just beyond the square, beside the old jasmine wall. Madame Solène keeps it. She has rooms with blue shutters and good pillows. When the rain eases, I will show you the turning." Elise thanked her, and the simple kindness settled over her as warmly as a blanket. She had not realized how pleasant it would be to have someone in a strange town tell her where to rest. The cafe had become quieter. Some guests had gone home. The elderly sisters departed under one umbrella, walking close together. The man with the violin packed his instrument with great care. Inside, the piano had stopped. In its place came the faint sound of cups being washed and chairs shifting softly across the floor. Still, several tables remained lit beneath the awning, and the small square felt more enchanted for being nearly empty. Rain polished the stones until they seemed made of dark glass. The fountain murmured. The shop windows watched themselves in the street. The cat finally crossed the square, moving with delicate displeasure around puddles, and came to sit beneath Elise's table. He looked up at her with green gold eyes. "Good evening," Elise said. The cat blinked once, accepting this. The silver-haired woman appeared with a saucer of cream and placed it near the table leg. "His name is Lantern," the woman said. "He arrived during a storm many summers ago and has been supervising the candles ever since." Lantern drank the cream, washed one paw, and settled into a neat loaf under the table. His presence made the little circle of light feel even more complete. Elise listened to his faint purring, nearly hidden beneath the rain. There are moments in a journey when a person understands, without needing any sign, that they have reached the place they were meant to pause. Elise felt this beneath the awning at the Candlelit Café, with the warm table before her, the sleeping cat near her feet, and the rain making silver threads between her and the rest of the town. She had not come looking for anything, yet she had found a table waiting, a cup filled, a gentle song, and a kind woman who knew where the pillows were good. At last, the rain began to lighten. The sound on the awning grew finer. The drops falling from the chestnut leaves came less often. Across the square, the lantern shop window became clearer, and the paper moons inside shone with milky calm. A soft blue darkness had settled between the buildings. High above, behind the last of the clouds, a few stars waited, not yet visible, but near. The silver-haired woman brought Elise's bill on a small plate, weighted with a smooth river stone. Elise paid, adding a little extra, and the woman pretended not to notice until she smiled. "Now," she said, "for the guest house." She stepped just beyond the awning and pointed down a narrow lane beside the cafe. "Follow that way. You will pass the green door with the brass fox, then the little wall covered in jasmine. Madame Solenne's gate is blue. Ring the bell only once. It sounds louder than it means to." Elise lifted her suitcase. It felt lighter than before. "Thank you," she said. "Sleep well when you get there." "I think I will." The woman gave a satisfied nod, as if this too were part of her work. Tea, candles, cake, and the quiet assurance that travelers would sleep well. Elise stepped from beneath the awning. The rain was now little more than mist, cool against her cheeks. Behind her, the cafe glowed warmly, its candle-lit table still shining under the green canvas. Lantern, the cat, had returned to the doorway where he sat like a small guardian of fire and rain. The silver-haired woman began to bring in the empty cups, one by one, moving slowly through the amber light. Elise walked into the lane. The stones were wet and dark beneath her shoes. Houses leaned close in companionable silence. The green door with the brass fox appeared just where the woman had said it would, the little fox polished bright by many passing hands. Beyond it, the scent of jasmine rose through the damp air, sweet and soft, more like a memory than a flower. The wall was covered with it, white blossoms opening in the rain-washed dark. There, just past the jasmine, stood a blue gate. Elise rang the bell once. It gave a full, resonant note that startled a sleeping bird in the vines, but only for a second. Then all was quiet again. A lamp appeared in an upper window. Footsteps descended. The gate opened to reveal Madame Solène, a round-faced woman in a gray shawl, holding a candle that shone against her cheek. "Ah," she said as if Elise were expected. "The rain has brought someone." "The cafe sent me," Elise said. "Then you are very welcome." The guest house smelled of beeswax, linen, and old wood. Madame Solène led Elise through a narrow hall, up a staircase with a polished rail, and into a room beneath the eaves. It had blue shutters, just as promised, and a bed made with white sheets. A pitcher of water stood on a washstand beside a sprig of lavender, tied with thread. Madame Solène set the candle on the bedside table. "The rain may begin again before morning," she said. "I would like that," Elise said. "Most people do, once they are under a roof." When Madame Solène had gone, Elise unpacked only what she needed. She washed her face and hands, changed into a soft nightdress, and opened the shutters a little. The room filled with cool, damp air. Far below she could see the glow of the cafe through the leaves. The candles were fewer now. One by one, they were being carried inside. The square shone softly under the remaining mist. The fountain spoke to itself. Somewhere, a door closed gently. Elise climbed into bed. The sheets were smooth and faintly scented with lavender. The pillow was indeed very good. She lay on her side facing the window and watched the last cafe candle move through the shadows. The silver-haired woman's hand. It passed behind the leaves, appeared again, then vanished through the door. A moment later, the cafe windows dimmed. The town rested. A breeze stirred the jasmine along the wall. Water dripped from the eaves in slow, uneven intervals. The church clock gave a distant, muffled sound, softened by rain and roofs. Elise felt herself drifting at the edge of sleep, carrying with her the candlelit table, the amber tea, the violin note, and Lantern's green-gold eyes. As she drifted, the summer rain returned, not heavily, just enough to touch the roof with 1,000 soft fingertips, just enough to blur the square again into a dream of gold and silver. The sound wrapped the guest house, the cafe, the chestnut tree, and all the narrow lanes in one gentle hush. Elise's breathing slowed. The rain breathed with her, and the town seemed to breathe as well in the dark beneath the hills. In and out, near and far, candlelight remembered by wet stones, tea warmth remembered by resting hands, music remembered by quiet rooms after the final note. She no longer needed to follow the shape of the story. It was loosening now, becoming rain, becoming leaves, becoming the cool blue shadow of a room beneath the eaves. The bed held her, the pillow held her, the night held everything. And somewhere below, safe beneath the cafe awning, the little table stood empty and peaceful. Their candles had gone in for the night, but the glass lanterns still kept the faintest trace of warmth. The rain washed the tabletops clean. The chairs rested with their curved backs shining. The fountain murmured on, patient and low. All through the town, shutters were closed. Lamps were put out. Flowers bowed beneath soft drops and lifted again. The river moved beyond the houses, slow and deep, carrying reflections no one needed to see. Elise slept. The rain kept watch. And now the story grows quieter. The square fades into mist. The cafe becomes only a warm glow remembered in the heart. The candle flame becomes a single point of light, smaller and softer, floating farther away. There is only breathing now, only rest, only the gentle sound of summer rain. Let the night be kind. Let every thought grow light. Let the body sink and soften and be still. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well